I love that you're super into fly fishing. I want to ask you a bunch of questions because in the fly fishing business, everybody wants to know how do we get more young people into the sport? And it's not just the business. It's how do we keep new people coming into Trout Unlimited chapters? How do we keep people who are going to be stewards of the river? What can we do better to have young people come into fly fishing?
Here's a cool thing. There's this club that started a couple years ago in Crested Butte. It's called West Feather, and it's a fly fishing club for kids, and it's really cool. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I'm doing it this summer, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of my friends are saying they want to do it. I think that's a good way to introduce people to the sport of fly fishing, and it's just a good way because kids like to hang out with their friends, and then,
going fishing with your dad is cool, but you really want to go fishing with your friends, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Loop to Loop is supported by Patagonia, high-performance outerwear made responsibly for our planet. G. Loomis, American-made fly rods manufactured in Woodland, Washington. Dynaking, precision-built vices to last a lifetime. Ross Reels, high-performance reels designed, machined, anodized, and assembled in Colorado for more than 50 years. Airflow, next-gen PVC-free fly lines with new tech, new formulas, and the same obsession. Trout Routes, a fly fishing navigation app that helps you stop guessing and start catching. Hi, I'm Ross Purnell, editor and publisher of Fly Fisherman magazine. Welcome to Loop, where we make deeper connections with the people behind the magazine. Our guest today is the youngest guest we've ever had, Tiki Furimsky, who comes from a long line of fly. You're one of the greatest fly fishing families there is. Am I right?
Thanks, Ross. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. You want to put the mic a little closer to you?
Okay.
How old are you?
I am 12. I turned 12 in August.
Where do you live?
Crested Butte, Colorado. So that's pretty fun. Lots of fishing around there.
I have fished around there. Where
Cool.
I've fished around there is Taylor Fork.
Mm-hmm.
I've fished in the Gunnison around, right where the Taylor Fork comes in.
Yeah, Almont.
Yeah. Put in my boat there several times. You camped in the campground down there. Amazing salmonfly hatch there, huh? And green drakes.
Well, the salmonflies don't come as high up as our part of the Gunnison. They only stay in the Black Canyon Gunnison Gorge area. So it's a bit farther down, but we get golden stoneflies and green drakes. Those are our biggest hatches, along with the usual, olive stoneflies and caddis and all the mayflies.
Yeah. It seems like green drakes was what I used to live in Colorado in the 90s, and
Awesome.
I think we went there for green drakes a lot around the 4th of July because there's a lot of green drakes in the Taylor and
in the East River.
I love that hatch because I can see the flies. Mm-hmm. Is that your favorite hatch?
Well, the salmonfly hatch would probably be it because we always go down. We either hike in, we backpack into the canyon for the night, 2 nights, or we hike in and have a mule pack our boat down and float through the canyon. That's really fun.
Wow. Okay. Is it a raft?
Yeah, we roll up our raft, and the mules carry it down along with a cooler full of all our food. And then we carry our own stuff. And then once we get down, we set up the raft. The mules go help carry someone else's stuff. And then we can float down, and there's multiple camp spots along the way inside the canyon. And it's just so awesome. There's these big rock walls and massive rainbow trout. It's so fun. But the only bad part is afterwards your hand hurts so bad from casting big flies.
I thought you were going to say your hand hurt from reeling in so many fish. I've done that one time. We did like a 3-day one,
Awesome.
and And the salmonflies are just like clinging right on the cliff face, and the
It's
trout
so
are just
cool.
there. They're watching them, I think.
so
I feel
cool.
like. Who do you do that with, your dad?
Yeah, I did it with my dad and my uncle the last time. My dad does it with a bunch of his friends every year, usually multiple times. It's pretty cool. I've only done it twice so far. I'm hoping to do it again this June.
My biggest beef with that float, my biggest problem is there's a lot of poison ivy.
Oh, I know. It's so annoying. You have to make sure that it's all off the campsite before you camp,
It's everywhere. I've never seen that much poison ivy in my life.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of trouble there.
Yeah.
You know what? There's also like cool little animals. Like the whole thing is like...
Yeah. There's ringtail cats, giant squirrels, and chipmunks, and lizards and snakes. It's so cool.
Yeah, there's lizards that come down from the desert above just to eat those salmonflies.
Yeah.
Those ringtail cats.
Oh, they're so cool.
I was
One
up
time
in the
they
night.
stole my
I thought I
fried
was
chicken.
imagining it. I didn't even know they were real.
Yeah. We always have like a pre-cooked meal for the first night, and we had fried chicken, and then one of the ringtail cats stole all the bones of our fried chicken, and we saw it eating it up on the cliff. It was pretty cool.
I don't know much about those. Do they live anywhere else? I didn't even...
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
What a wild animal.
It's really cool.
It's amazing you get to live in such a cool part of the world.
I know. It's pretty great.
Crested Butte's cold in the winter.
Yeah, snowing is finally starting.
Are you a skier too?
Yes. Yeah.
Dang.
The ski area opens Thanksgiving weekend, but we haven't gotten enough snow. There's only going to be one run. But everyone who's lived there for over 30 years has said to me, all the best years start halfway through. So I'm hoping that means this year we get some awesome powder days.
That's a good theory. I like that theory. It means the snow's all compressed.
Yeah.
Plus, lots of snow means lots of good fishing, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's your favorite place to go fishing besides home, like outside of your home water? Like, where do you really like to go fishing in America?
There's not many places I've been to more than once. But some of the funnest fishing I've ever done, me, my dad, and my grandpa, we all went up to Canada this summer. And that was so fun. It was like 40 fish a day.
Do you remember what province in Canada?
It's Manitoba.
But you were catching pike and lake trout and walleye and stuff like that?
No
walleye?
Oh, no, I guess there was walleye. But mostly the northern pike. My dad got a real big lake trout. It was like 30 inches. It was a really big one. But the biggest fish that we got all together, me and my dad both got a doubleheader with 35 and 36-inch northern pike. It was really cool.
Wow.
And then my grandpa got some big walleye. And we even got some big grayling in the
That's
river.
a cool trip.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was so cool.
I love that you're super into fly fishing. I want to ask you a bunch of questions because in the fly fishing business, everybody wants to know how do we get more young people into the sport? And it's not just the business. It's how do we keep new people coming into Trout Unlimited chapters? How do we keep people who are going to be stewards of the river? What can we do better to have young people come into fly fishing?
Here's a cool thing. There's this club that started a couple years ago in Crested Butte. It's called West Feather, and it's a fly fishing club for kids, and it's really cool. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I'm doing it this summer, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of my friends are saying they want to do it. I think that's a good way to introduce people to the sport of fly fishing, and it's just a good way because kids like to hang out with their friends. And then,
going fishing with your dad is cool, but you really want to go fishing with your friends, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old nephew, and he lives in Utah, and he loves going fishing with his friends. They ride their bikes down to the river and just kick back and fish. So, you need more friends that you can do it with. Is gear a problem? How is it finding
I think so.
stuff that fits you?
I think that's a big thing. Like, if you can organize just on your own with your friends, you, like, bring a couple of your own rods and give some rods to your friends, then it's easy. But if everyone has their own stuff, then it's, like, seamless.
This episode is supported by Techstream, high-tech fly tying materials made in Italy and trusted by the best tyers in the world. Techstream sounds new to many anglers. That's because it's re-entering the U.S. and Canada this year through Mayfly Outdoors, the parent company of Ross, Able, Airflow, Airlight, Renzetti, and Dynaking. But globally, tyers have relied on these materials for nearly 2 decades. If you care about clean wraps, true colors, and materials that behave the same every time you sit down at the vise, Techstream delivers. Their threads, dubbing, chenilles, and specialty fibers make tying easier, more predictable, and more enjoyable. Look for Techstream in fly shops across the U.S. and Canada and level up your fly tying game. Do you think the fly fishing business is doing a good job of like making gear for kids?
I mean, waders and stuff, yes. But I mean, a fly rod can't really be subjected to kids or not.
Yeah.
But I think that
But you are finding waders that can fit you in boots now that you're a little older. Like if you're 8 years old, I think it's kind of tough.
I've had the same pair of waders since I was 8 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're lasting a long time.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of those things. They were really big when I got them. So maybe they need to make some things for smaller kids. I don't know, really. I wouldn't be that good at answering that.
So you're into hatches, like you know all the insects and stuff that are hatching. Is that just because you're listening?
I try and learn more of that stuff. I sometimes flip through this little book I have, Western Hatches. I forget who it's written by. Got it at the shows. It's pretty cool, and it shows all the hatches and the patterns of flies that go along with it. It's pretty cool. I flip through it every once in a while.
So you learn basically the same way I did from books and stuff like that. I thought you might be like YouTube or TikTok or something.
No, I'm not really that into that social media stuff.
Plus, the information's not on there. It's not like you're going to find out what a green drake hatch looks like on TikTok. You have to go to the same resources that everybody else did.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I mostly learned it all from my dad, though.
What a man.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty lucky growing up in a legendary fly fishing family like that.
I know.
And I've met you before at some of the shows. Mm-hmm. Just so everyone listening knows, your dad runs the fly fishing show that does fly fishing events all across America, and you get to go to a lot of them. I've seen you in Denver.
I mostly go to Denver now. I've gone to Edison more than the other ones. But when I was little, we got to travel all around. I just traveled around with my dad. But now it's harder because, 1, my parents are divorced, and 2, I have to stay in school because school is hard.
Yeah, school's getting tougher, huh?
Yeah, so it's like I can't really go to all of them, which is unfortunate. I try and go to Denver pretty much every year, though, because I really enjoy it.
Yeah, Denver's a great show.
Yeah.
So you get exposed constantly to all these fly fishing greats, like all of them. They're all there presenting, giving casting demonstrations, fly tying demonstrations, the whole thing. Who's your favorite? Like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody, but like, who do you really look forward to seeing? Like, who's a legend for you?
Too hard.
Okay, favorite, just name one that you really look forward to watching a presentation or something.
Well, it depends. That's tough. I mean, there's, of course, Joe Humphreys, and also, I don't know. That's tough. There's so many good people that I'm great friends with, and they're awesome fly fishermen. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe's awesome. Joe was here and sat in that very seat that you're sitting in.
Yeah, cool.
You're like following in Joe's footsteps.
I watched that podcast.
Did you?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
He is the man, isn't he?
He's so cool.
Yeah, and when he does a casting demonstration at the show, like last time I saw him was in the Lancaster show. there's hundreds of people packed around listening to what he has to say and his demonstration. It's pretty amazing that when he was your age, he was down at Spring Creek catching fish.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Do you tie your own flies?
I do tie my own flies. I'm getting better. I'm not great. The most complicated fly I've tied was a Adams. So I can't really do that much yet. But
Yeah, it's a good fly. Parachute Adams or regular Adams?
just regular Adams. Well, I guess I kind of started learning how to tie parachute Adams. Didn't get good at it yet. But I tied my own flies for Manitoba, tie a lot of my own flies for around home. It's pretty cool. I like it.
In terms of fly tying demonstrators at the show, who have you learned from there?
Oh, I don't know. When I was littler, I used to go to the fly tying booth there where the kids could fly tie. I learned quite a bit from that. I never really had enough patience to sit and watch the demonstrations.
Because maybe at that time you weren't into the fly tying yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the little booth there was just something for me to do. Because then I wasn't even old enough to help my dad out enough.
You know, one of the guys that I like who ties flies there is Pat Dorsey.
Yeah.
He's from Colorado. And guess what? One of his, he wrote a story for us about fishing for green drakes.
Oh, really?
And he was talking about fishing green drakes right where you live. And he went with his dad. And that's where he learned from his dad to match the hatch for green drakes,
That's
right in
cool.
your backyard.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, you guys had very similar experiences.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
So
I live in a great place to grow up, that's for sure.
Yeah. You must hear fishing stories nonstop from your dad, the guys at the show, all over the place.
Yeah, I like it.
Now that you've heard all of these places and stuff, where do you really want to go?
Oh,
Do you have a burning passion to go somewhere?
I always thought it would be really cool to go. My dad, he went to wait, scratch that. I got a better idea. So my dad just got back from Mongolia, right? And that was cool. Giant river taimen. They're the biggest of the salmonoids. It's just a giant trout, and they do a river trip and stay in the yurts along the way. That would be cool. But a close second is probably just peacock bass up in the Amazon, because that's just top destinations, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different lodges you could stay at. It would never get old, you know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've done both those, and they are awesome. But there's something about those taimen because they're so trouty.
Yeah.
It looks like a trout, but absolutely immense. And those yurts are very cool.
Yeah, like gurs.
Did you make him promise that he'd take you back?
Oh, not really, but either way.
Gotta lock it in. Start planning for 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get better at some saltwater fishing too, because me and my dad have gone to Florida a couple times for tarpon stuff. We've got nothing the whole time. So I want to just scratch that off the list, get something like a big tarpon or a big permit. Big permit would be crazy.
Yeah. So you mentioned peacock bass and taimen. For both those, it's big flies, big rods, and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you have a hard time? Sorry for the kid questions, but is it hard for you to load up an 11 weight or a 10 weight? Do you have to use a smaller rod?
I do have to use a smaller rod.
If you're smaller, you're working twice as hard, right?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if it's bigger, I'm working twice as hard because, like you said, it's hard to load up. I can't cast anywhere. With the small rod, I can still cast somewhere. I just have to use a smaller fly then and turn.
Okay, so when you go to Florida, instead of using a 10 weight, you'd use an 8 weight, so things are just downsized for you a little bit.
Yeah, like when we went into Canada, my dad was using a 10 and 11, and I was using a 9 and an 8. So it works out, but
That makes a lot of sense.
I could fish with the 10. It would just be a lot harder.
Every dad wants a fishing wingman like you. Your dad's living the dream. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wanted to play a game today.
Oh, okay.
It's called Pick One. I just made it up. And it's like if I asked you to pick one, apple pie or pumpkin pie, you just get to pick one.
Should I pick one?
No, but really, like with pumpkin and apple pie, they're both good. Mm-hmm. But you got to have one favorite. So I got a list of pick'ems, okay?
Okay.
Sunday football games or Sunday fishing?
Sunday fishing.
Elk hair caddis or parachute Adams?
Ooh. Elk hair caddis because you could use it in a lot more places.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. Drift boat or flat skiff? What would you rather be in, a flat boat or a drift boat?
That's tough. Flats boat.
Oh, saltwater guy. Okay. Fluorocarbon or nylon monofilament?
The nylon, whatchamacallit.
The nylon.
Yeah, the nylon.
That's what you usually use?
I think
Because you're a
so.
dry fly guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's the one. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's whatever your dad gives you for your
Exactly.
best. Smallmouth bass or striped bass?
That's really tough because I really haven't gone smallmouth fishing. I've only really truly tried for smallmouth in 3 different places. Only succeeded one of those times. But the stripers, that's like something that I do a lot, and it's super fun. I'm going to have to say striper.
Do you? You have done a lot of striper fishing?
Yeah, because my grandparents in New Jersey, every once in a while we go visit them in the fall when the striper season comes. Yeah, it's pretty cool because you get to like go out at night, you're wearing all the cold gear, and then you make one cast out like under a bridge, and it gets smashed. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I love smallmouth bass, but stripers are
See,
amazing.
if I
Jersey.
if I lived here in Pennsylvania, I would probably say smallmouth
That's true. Colorado's not much for smallmouth bass fishing in rivers
or
at all.
striper.
Yeah. That's true. You live in a great trout state. Mm-hmm. Speaking of trout states, one of my questions is Colorado or Montana? What's better?
I'm going to go with Colorado because in Colorado, one of my favorite spots to fish is this little stream called Brush Creek. At its widest, it's probably about as wide as this room. And it's super fun. You just use a tiny 4-weight, and it's really fun. And just like every cast is a fish. It's pretty cool.
I love
like
little
that a lot.
streams like that, little mountain streams.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
Joe
so cool.
Humphreys type thing. There's little mountain streams like that around
I know.
here too.
Yeah.
Except the ones in Colorado are pretty cool. Speaking of that, pick one, cutthroats or brook trout?
Cutthroat.
Yeah, Colorado guy. There you go. Spring fishing or fall fishing?
Spring fishing.
That,
Because that's when the salmonfly hatches.
that's when all the hatches are, really.
Yeah, that's
fall,
true. That's true.
Fall's pretty, but it can be tough for just like straight up,
It is tough.
but
It is tough.
straight trout fishing. But for like stripers and steelhead, and
That's true.
then you want the fall, I think.
That's
But if you're
true.
a trout guy in Colorado, I agree with you 100%. It's got to be the spring. Vest or chest pack? How are you packing up? How you loading up?
I usually just use a chest pack.
Oh yeah.
The vests are cool. I think that the vest is a lot cooler and a lot more accessible, but I just use a chest pack. Especially because that way you don't have to load it up every single time with the same stuff. I mean, I guess that's kind of tough. I'm not sure.
They're all tough questions. That's why I
Yeah.
wrote them. They're tricky.
Yeah.
Waders or wet wading?
Wet wading. Waders are annoying.
That's the easiest choice ever,
Yeah,
right?
that's the
Wet
easy.
wading is a trout fisherman's dream. Wet wading all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's funny? You already brought this up, but one of my questions is Brazil or Mongolia?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's right there. Brazil. I already was going to ask you that, but those are on your list. So which one would be number 1 and number 2? Pick one.
Brazil might be better just because it's easier. But the Mongolia is more of a destination.
It's easier in that you catch more fish. Like sometimes Mongolia is like 1 fish a day, and that's the best fishing you can hope for, really.
I'm going to have to say Mongolia because it's more of like something that's super crazy that you can like brag about, you know?
Yeah, once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah. Not nearly as many people do that. Fish for time in Mongolia.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
You, like your generation, I'm completely fascinated with. Like one of my favorite guys to fish with is my nephew Lawson. Mm-hmm. He's 13 years old. We hiked into a little stream in Wyoming this summer, and it was just amazing watching him fish. And it's just like your generation, we need more of you. And like I find it so exciting to see people are just like into it, and you are.
That's pretty cool.